All right, let's get to our blend game. We are wrapping up the month of October and playing hashtag Halloween movie blend. And the challenge was to try to find a movie that we love that is either set on Halloween or has enough of a connection to the Halloween holiday that you could justify choosing it. But as an added challenge to the hosts, we were not allowed to choose Carpenter's Halloween, or I would argue any film in the Halloween franchise. Although if you really want to pick Rob Zombie's, I'm not going to give you a hard time for it. So, Jake, you're our resident horror Halloween guy. Why don't you go first and tell us your favorite hashtag Halloween movie blend?
You know, I did my best to try to find a really good list of horror movies that were set around Halloween or about Halloween. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and every time I would find a list, they would include a movie and I would go, is that movie really set on Halloween? And I'm saying this because a lot of people, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people, when we threw this out there, said Scream. And I don't think Scream is set around Halloween.
I don't remember Scream enough to know that it is or not.
No,
I know they have a party at the end, but I think the party is because they're celebrating that school was let out.
No, you're right, Jake. If it was a Halloween film, they would have been dressed up in costume.
Yeah,
Scream is. I think this became an interesting topic last week because Gabe came up with the topic and we were questioning Gabe on like what this actually means.
Right.
And I think the idea of the reason those lists are bringing those films in is just the idea of what a horror film is you watch around Halloween.
Yeah.
But this is
and like watch right. Yeah. And I tried to find one that was specifically about, and I couldn't find the definitive list, but I kept going back to one movie, and that is the horror anthology Trick or Treat.
Oh, nice. Mike Doherty, man.
Yeah, if you've never seen it, that movie was one of those movies that was kind of in pre-released hell, where they kept like just pushing it back and pushing it back and pushing it back. It was going to hit theaters, and then it was going to come out. It was going to hit theaters around October. Then it was going to hit theaters on Valentine's Day, and then they ended up just sitting on a shelf gathering dust. And then I think they just put it straight to DVD, and then it kind of started gathering this sort of this cult status, and it kind of does something similar to, Kevin, what you were talking about Cabin in the Woods does to the horror genre, which is pay respect to the horror genre, include all of the elements about horror that we make fun of, but then present them in a really interesting way. And so the whole movie takes place around the night of Halloween. It's little vignettes that are in their own way really tied together, so that they're individual stories, but you'll see characters cross over from one story to the other. The story has a very cyclical nature about it, where like it kind of ends where it begins and begins where it ends. It's so smart, and you don't even realize how smart it is until it's over. All of the actors in it, a lot of recognizable faces, from Anna Paquin to Brian Cox. They're 100% into it, like they sell it 100%. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. And I watch it every couple of years, every couple of Halloweens. And there are so many fun twists that I always forget about. The big one being the end of Anna Paquin's story, which is so fun. I don't want to say it, but it takes you down a path of, hey, all of the horror movie cliches. Like, okay, we're going to make fun of them. Oh, but we're making fun of different cliches than you think we are. And so it's a lot of fun if you are a fan of horror movies and you think that you know everything about the genre. It's a fun send up to it that makes fun of it, but also pays respect to it at the same time.
Yeah, and a shout out to Michael Dougherty, by the way, who directed that film. Like I actually liked Krampus. He did Krampus as well.
I did too. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was very well done. I mean, he recently did the new Godzilla film with Millie Bobby Brown too, but I think I was on IMDb right now. It looks like they've announced a Trick or Treat 2, and you never know if these things are real. But Jake brings up a great film, and it's not my pick, so I just wanted to expand. But it is it's scary as hell, but unique, and like you're watching something special and fun, and it's like a movie that just didn't get the love it deserved. Like I was also looking at like Donnie Darko, which also has a Halloween element to it as well, and like I feel like those two films fall into a similar category where they're just expanding on a genre. But it's so unique. But again, a film that just kind of fell on. It's only like an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah,
hour
super
and 30
fast.
minutes.
Yeah, I think it's under an hour and a half.
And
yeah,
the Anna Paquin scene, that storyline is amazing. All I remember is them by the tree. I won't go into specific details, but anybody out there who hasn't seen Trick or Treat, it is amazing.
Me, I've never seen it.
You've never seen it? Oh,
no,
you gotta watch it, dude. You would love it. It's super smart.
It's amazing.
Don't tell me what to do. I will check it out. I think Kevin has mine, so I'm going to let Kevin go next.
Wait, you think you and I have the same one?
I'm going to guess we have the same one.
Oh, well, now I feel pressured.
No, don't. Just tell me what yours is.
Well, it's funny because I went with The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I did too.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, then we'll play with that.
I did too. Okay.
Now, so part of this show, part of the reason why we love doing this show is we get to share our personal connections to films. So, Nightmare Before Christmas is, it's everything to my wife, Lauren, and I. So it's like, we got engaged with Jack and Sally at Disney World. Those characters are all over our house. They're the names of our dogs now.
Yes.
Our 2 dogs are Jack and Sally. And you wouldn't believe the Nightmare Before Christmas material we have all over this house. And one of the astounding things about Nightmare Before Christmas that I've always found interesting is so many people think Tim Burton directed it. It's Henry Selick who ended up doing Coraline. Did he do Coraline? Henry Selick did Coraline.
He did, yes. And James and the Giant Peach.
Yeah, and so, but it's so Burton. And I'll never forget.
In the same way that Poltergeist is so Spielberg.
Exactly, and it's an interesting thing because to me it will always be a Tim Burton film, and I love Henry Selick. Don't get me wrong, but the ideas, the concepts, the Danny Elfman element. I also love that they had 2 different actors playing Jack, one for the speaking voice and one for the singing voice. And like Elfman's music and the Catherine O'Hara is brilliant in the movie as Sally.
God, she's so great,
just fantastic. And I think I'll never forget my mom got me. So we went to New York City for like a family vacation, and there was a Tim Burton MoMA exhibit that was happening at the Museum of Modern Art or whatever it was somewhere in Manhattan. And we showed up on the day, and the tickets were sold out. So my mom went up to the countertop and fought her way into getting 4 tickets. I'll never forget it. And so she comes back from the line. She's like, "I got 4 tickets. We're going in now." I don't know what she did.
Do that?
I don't know if she.
Hey, how did that work?
I'll have to ask my mom. My mom is pretty persuasive, and I feel like she probably said how much this movie meant to us because growing up, it was a big film. It's weird because that movie had an importance for me as a kid that it had an importance for me now as an adult. Completely different reasons because I meet Lauren, it becomes it's a love story for me. As a kid, I watch it because I'm so fascinated by the stop motion animatronic or stop motion effects and everything. So I'm going.
Wait, was she into it before you 2 met?
Oh yeah, this was a movie that both Lauren and I absolutely loved outside of ever knowing each other.
See, that's pretty cool.
And so,
I didn't realize that.
And so I'll never forget going through this MoMA exhibit, and then I got to this area where it was like a glass enclosed case. There must have been 30 to 40 to 50 Jack Skellington heads just for each facial expression.
Yeah.
When you make a movie like this, you're 24 frames a second, so you're shooting 24 pictures for every second of motion. So it could take weeks to film a minute of the movie because you essentially, stop motion is not like a secret, but for Jack to have a reaction in a scene, the character of Jack, if his face goes from sad to happy, that could take 3 frames or 3 seconds of film. You're talking 24. And so you change his expression each time, and it's very impressive. It's so seamless when you watch it, though, and I think that that film just... The Halloween aspect of it, if we're going Halloween, my wife and I got engaged on Halloween, October 31st, and it was with Jack and Sally. So that, and I know there's a debate on whether or not it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween film. I think it's both. It's both. Yeah, and the songs, "This Is Halloween." And
it literally opens with a song, "This Is Halloween."
Right, exactly. And
that's what.
Yeah. So
when you're done,
to be honest with you, I just think. I just wanted to say it's just a special film, and I absolutely love it, and it just means a lot to me personally. But I also love the film in general, and I think stop motion is one of the most insanely cool filmmaking techniques I've ever seen. There is one of the greatest shots in the history of cinema is when Jack is walking out on that thin, and it's wrapping. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's
so. Have you watched that series on Disney Plus about the guy who collects the props, or he goes around and interviews everybody who's associated with the props?
No.
What is awesome. The name? I'm going to look up the name of the show because they have an episode specifically for The Nightmare Before Christmas. And he goes to the location where they still have that set, the hill.
Where is it?
They still have the hill?
Yes, they have the hill intact. So cool. And they show how the markings on the side are sketched in a way so that when the camera went across them, it's a graphic trick. It's a trick so that it looks like the grass is moving kind of thing. If you move a camera across it, but it's still
That's awesome.
hacked that way. I'll try and find the name of the show.
Great choice, Kevin. I mean, both of you guys. That's a great choice.
I feel like it was a choice that you guys probably expected from me because you guys know me so well and how much that movie meant to us.
I didn't think about it, and you're right in that it is both Halloween and Christmas. But I think in my mind, it's a Christmas movie. Like I think of it at Christmas time more before I think of it at Halloween.
You're right.
I'm not saying it's not a Halloween movie because it absolutely is. But it didn't even pop in my head because, like I said, I usually don't start thinking about that movie till around December.
Well, that's why I was going to say the part I was going to add was
Prop culture.
That's what it's called. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a
I didn't
really,
come up
really
with
good show.
That wasn't me.
Thank you, Allie. Very nice. Yeah. To me, Nightmare Before Christmas was always a Christmas movie, and in fact, my favorite scene in the movie is when Jack first lands in the North Pole in the snow, and the song, "What's this? What's this?" Yeah. I love that scene, and that is one of the scenes that puts me in the mood for the holiday season. I watch it every single year to start thinking about Christmas. But in going back to rewatch the movie so many times, I came to appreciate how funny the Halloween bits are. Like if you're a town that is only obsessed with Halloween, that when he comes back to explain like what they do on Christmas and they have all their ideas of like the horrible things that they would do, it's really funny. And that's very Tim Burton. Like it dials into how much Tim Burton it is.
Haven't you guys always wanted to go into the other doors, like at the beginning where they show all the trees? I've always wanted, I've never interviewed Henry Selick before, but I've always wanted to ask him hypothetically like what the other doors would be like.
Well, there was a turkey and there was an Easter bunny, I remember.
Wasn't there a shamrock?
Oh, I think that might have been a shamrock. That's so funny.
Lauren and I got to go to Hollywood Bowl and see Elfman perform that with Catherine O'Hara. They were doing songs as Jack and Sally. It was... Wait, so Sean, do you have aside from the idea of a Christmas element of it, like is there a specific reason why that became your pick? Just
I love I got to really fall in love with the characters of Halloween Town. Yeah. I think they're really cute. They are they're Halloween-y in a way that's still really adorable. Yeah. Like they have the vampires that sing their little chorus. They've got the big blobby guy with the hatchet in his head. They're all just like really cute little Halloween guys, and I think it's adorable. The mayor is very funny. How panicky he is.
And two-faced, literally two-faced.
I love how the next day, like they just finished Halloween and he's like, let's start planning.
Let's go
next year. It's if you think of a town that's dedicated to one holiday, that's exactly what they would do. So
Sean, I have a question for you. So because Kevin and Lauren both shared a love of Night Before Christmas, it's how he proposed, and Jack and Sally were there. If Michelle had shared your love of Die Hard, would you have proposed in like an air vent? Like we should get married, have a few laughs.
Yeah, I scatter glass shards down the aisle. I make a run down it with no shoes on while I shoot guns over her head.
Ho, 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 now I have a wife.
That would have been very strange. All right, audience picks. Let's say RKH said The Addams Family, 1991.
God, yes.
Michael Breen said, gotta go old school with this and pick one of the funniest plays movies of all time, Arsenic and Old Lace. A perfect movie, iconic
I don't think I've
Cary
ever seen
Grant
it.
performance and directed by Frank Capra that takes place on Halloween.
Wow. What year is that? Is that the 40s?
Arsenic and Old Lace would be 41 or 42, I want to say.
Wow.
Yeah, I did the junket for that. Mike Reyes went with Trick or Treat, the horror anthology. John Palmer, this is a good pick, and I know it's not Halloween-y, but it's a very distinct Halloween scene. E.T., when Elliot and Michael take E.T.
that works.
Trick or treating. Yeah. So I'm going to allow that. Joel McFarlane had to go with Hocus Pocus.
It's a great one.
And Lawrence Weinstein brought up a movie that has been on top of my pile of movies that I want to watch, and I keep meaning to get to it. And he picked a 2015 movie called The Final Girls, which sends up many of the horror movie tropes while having a poignant backstory of a young woman interacting with her long-dead mother after being sucked into the slasher movie her mother co-starred in. It is funny, suspenseful, and ultimately moving. It has a Michael Myers-type character.
Sounds amazing.
And that is the connection to Halloween. I highly recommend it. It's currently on Showtime and available on Amazon Prime to rent. So you guys know the term The Final Girl, right?
Yes. Like Jamie, like Laurie Strode.
For people who are unfamiliar, in a horror movie, this is the girl who ends up surviving till the end of the movie, usually puts away the killer. This is a movie called The Final Girls, where a young girl gets pulled into a horror film and has to survive. And it sort of lampoons the idea of horror films. I've been told by so many people very similar to Doherty's film that it's really clever. You got to check it out. It's been on the top of my pile forever.
I've never heard of it. That sounds
I've not been
awesome.
able to get to it. So 2015, The Final Girls. So check it out.